A festive Hong Kong ushers in the Year of the Horse. Getting ready for the Lunar New Year parade. And American Amanda Knox's murder conviction reinstated by Italian court.
Good evening. First of all, from everyone here at TVB News, Kung Hei Fat Choi and a happy and healthy Year of the Horse. Acting Chief Executive Carrie Lam marked the Lunar New Year with a visit to the famous Wishing Tree in Tai Po. She hopes Hong Kong will reach a consensus on its constitutional development. Stephanie Choi reports.
Carrie Lam today celebrated the start of the Year of the Horse with a group of villagers.
Today is the first day of the Chinese New Year. I take this opportunity to send my best wishes to all the people in Hong Kong, and I wish them good health and happiness in the year ahead.
In just the right place to make a wish, she expressed hope for all sectors of society to communicate and express their views peacefully. She said one of the government's biggest priorities this year is constitutional development.
I hope that we will continue to talk and establish consensus for us to achieve jointly this common aspiration to have universal suffrage in the selection of the chief executive in 2017.
Locals and tourists alike flocked here to make their wishes. And what did people wish for in the Year of the Horse?
A happy family and good business.
We wish for a better environment, better life, and more job opportunities for everyone.
Legend has it, if you successfully anchor your car to the tree, your wish will come true. Organizers created this special silhouette to celebrate the Year of the Horse. Now all you have to do is fill in your wishes for the new year and give it your best shot. Now if all you kids get good grades this year, that's because I wished for it. And the village has a lot more to offer this year than just luck. A special exhibition is being held here to show Tai Po's rich history and village culture. This year's Well-Wishing Festival is open to the public until February 14th, the 15th day of the Lunar New Year, which is also the Lantern Festival. Stephanie Choi, TVB News.
Well, there were festive scenes elsewhere in Hong Kong. Jada Silva takes a look at what's been happening around town as the city ushers in the Year of the Horse.
3 babies were born when the clock struck midnight, ringing in the Year of the Horse. One of them was born at Union Hospital in Sha Tin. The proud father works as a doctor at a public hospital. Still, he recalled being so nervous that his hands shook as he cut the umbilical cord. Meanwhile, others were out praying and making incense offerings so that the Year of the Horse gives them a smooth and happy ride. About 20,000 people made their way to the Wong Tai Sin temple last night. This woman said she prayed for good health and good grades for her children. And this one said she asked for positive energy for everyone in Hong Kong. The temple will extend its opening hours to 6:30 in the evening every day until the 15th day of the Lunar New Year. Another New Year tradition, looking for bargains at the flower markets. Afterwards, government workers were there to clear the trash and take the booths down. Volunteers collected and sold flowers to deliver them to hospitals and elderly homes. Secretary for Food and Health, Ko Wing-man, was there too, and he wished workers a happy and prosperous New Year.
And while most people choose to spend this day with their families, many are still out here in Causeway Bay shopping. After all, the Chinese New Year is all about replacing the old with the new. Jada Silva, TVB News.
And tonight, huge crowds are in Tsim Sha Tsui to enjoy the Lunar New Year parade. Stephanie Choi is there to tell us more. And Stephanie, I hear there are actually some performances going on right now before the actual parade.
Yes, Tony, the parade hasn't officially started yet, but there are already lots of pre-show events to get the crowd going. Now, later on at 8 p.m., we can expect to see international performance troops from places like Singapore, the Netherlands, and Barbados, as well as local performers. More than 100 local children are taking part in the parade. Dancers are also putting their best foot forward to mimic spirited horses. Horses can be seen everywhere, including animated replicas of renowned late painter Xu Beihong, and even seahorses. Some people waiting in anticipation for the parade arrived as early as 3 p.m. to get a good spot.
About 2 hours ago, so we're just waiting for the parade, obviously, and looking forward to seeing what it happens, basically.
Are you looking forward to anything in particular?
Just seeing all the floats go past and all the parade element of it, as well as the atmosphere, yes.
I've been waiting here since 5 o'clock, and I should come at 4 next time. Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, to get a great seat, this is an awesome opportunity. I've done it now 5 years, and every time the parade is just fantastic.
At 8 p.m. tonight, the floats and performers will set off from the Cultural Center and make their way along Canton Road, Haiphong Road, Nathan Road, and Salisbury Road. The parade features 13 floats and 21 performance troops. Special traffic and transport arrangements are in place in the area. Don't worry if you miss tonight's parade, because some of the floats from tonight will be on display at Lam Chin Village in Tai Po from tomorrow until February 16th. And also over the next couple of days, you can catch international performance troops who will be here tonight at various public venues across Hong Kong. Now, I wish you all a very prosperous and healthy Year of the Horse. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Stephanie, the atmosphere looks fantastic down there. Thanks very much. And that was Stephanie Choi reporting live from Tsim Sha Tsui. Let's turn overseas now. And media reports out of Thailand say a court there has refused to grant an injunction sought by the opposition against the declaration of a state of emergency in Bangkok and surrounding provinces last week. Protesters kept up the pressure on the government with another march today, 2 days ahead of snap elections. Demonstrators say the poll is illegitimate because the political system is corrupt, and they want total reform before an election is held. They have taken over half a dozen major intersections in Bangkok and surrounded government ministries. Caretaker Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra is pushing ahead with the vote on Sunday, even though the opposition says it will boycott it. There will be a strong police presence in the capital to prevent possible disruptions to the ballot. Protesters disrupted advance voting last weekend by blocking polling stations and chaining up their gates.
Former American exchange student Amanda Knox has once again been found guilty by an Italian court of the stabbing murder of her roommate in 2007. She's been sentenced to 28.5 years in prison. As Alan Bugnia reports, the verdict comes 2 years after Knox was acquitted in the same case and returned home to Seattle.
It's the third time Knox had been tried for the 2007 murder of Meredith Kircher. The 21-year-old British exchange student was found dead in a pool of blood in an apartment they were sharing. She'd been sexually assaulted and her throat was slashed. Knox and her Italian boyfriend, Raffaele Sollecito, were found guilty of the murder in 2009, but acquitted in 2011. Prosecutors had argued that Kircher was killed after a drug-fueled sex game went awry. Knox and Sollecito denied involvement, insisting they were at his apartment that night, smoking marijuana and having sex. The case fascinated court watchers and led to lurid tabloid headlines about Foxy Knoxy. DNA evidence used in the first trial was ruled unreliable in the retrial. But Italy's Supreme Court, which has to confirm any verdict before it's official, ordered yet another trial after a third defendant, Rudy Guetta of Ivory Coast, was convicted in a separate trial. He's serving a 16-year sentence. His conviction specified he didn't act alone. In Knox's latest trial, prosecutors argued the violence was triggered by an argument over Guetta's uncleanliness in the apartment. Believing it was all over after the 2011 trial, Knox, now 26, left Italy and is living with her mother and stepfather in Seattle. Her family is seen leaving the house with someone covered by a jacket, believed to be Knox. Knox issued a statement saying she was saddened and frightened by the verdict and blamed an overzealous and intransigent prosecution and narrow-minded investigation. The verdict is being appealed and still has to be finalized by Italy's highest court, which could drag on for more than a year. If confirmed, Italy would likely seek Knox's extradition. Alan Bugnia, TVB News.
U.S. federal prosecutors have announced they'll be seeking the death penalty if they get a conviction in the Boston Marathon bombing trial. 20-year-old Dzhokhar Tsarnaev is facing 30 charges in the case, and half of them carry a possible death sentence. 3 people were killed and 260 injured in twin blasts near the finish line of the marathon last April. The decision to press for Tsarnaev's execution was widely expected. Tsarnaev has pleaded not guilty. No trial date has been set. Staying in the United States now, and with the Super Bowl only days away from kicking off, not from New York City, U.S. law enforcement agencies are working around the clock to ensure fans can enjoy a safe and secure event. NBC News now with more on the security build-up to America's biggest sporting showcase.
MetLife Stadium already in full lockdown. 2.5 miles of fencing surrounds the perimeter, cameras trained on every movement, and patrols on the ground, in the air, and since the stadium is surrounded by marshland, the water.
So we'll be using all night vision capabilities, infrared capabilities, both in the water, in the air, and on the ground to make sure that doesn't happen.
And that is just New Jersey. Across the river, a scant 10.6 miles away, is Times Square, redubbed Super Bowl Boulevard. Fans central for events all this week.
We work terrorism every day.
George Venizelos is the FBI assistant director in New York. He says the big challenge is coordinating with the many agencies. But of all locations, New York and New Jersey already have a system in place.
We never let our guard down. But obviously you can have a lot more people in the city. The stakes are higher. You know, we rev it up. There's no doubt about it. But we worry about terrorism every day.
Among the things at their disposal, pocket-sized radiation detectors.
If there is something, these pages are going to go off and the law enforcement's going to know about it.
So you're going to have potentially dozens, if not hundreds of those going off
There are
at the same time.
thousands of them throughout the city.
Alongside all that modern tech, some tried and true methods. A multi-day extravaganza in a region home to 18 million people. Here, sometimes the best asset is the number of eyes. At the NYPD's headquarters, real-time surveillance with intelligence that can detect unusual behavior and spot suspicious packages. All to make sure everything from kickoff to the trophy presentation goes off without a hitch.
Security is a balance. You have to balance safety and people still having a good time.
And still to come in our news tonight. Ukrainian protest leaders said he was tortured. Locally, extra compensation considered for chicken vendors hit by bird flu. And a look at Super Bowl ads.